Any paranormal, extraterrestrial, or ghost stories you guys have?
I'm not
Mm.
too big into paranormal. I've never had like anything like experienced to me. I can tell you about the Conjuring movies though.
But like
No,
like
I
a
really believe in it 100%, bro. I'm not gonna ever fuck around with it or like mock it because I feel like hell no. The last thing I need is motherfucker possessing me, and there's way too much like things that people capture on tape. I'm like, bro, ghosts have got to be real. They,
but do you have you ever experienced anything? Like
okay, so me
anything. Like it
personally,
could be, you know, it could be something that you thought it was just like, or um just like like any experience, right? Like
yeah.
it doesn't have
So
to be, it could be something you thought was just literally fake, or it could be something you just thought was real, right? So anything,
right.
right?
So me, like nothing has ever like really super out there happened to me where I can definitively say like holy shit. But like my mom and my grandma swear like on everything that they've had their own experiences. Like my grandma said
Okay.
clear as day she saw like a shadow figure like run up her stairs and you could hear like the stomps up the stairs as it's going up the stairs. My mom once told me that at my old house when I'm a baby that she was holding me in her arms, and at the time we were staying with my aunt and uncle and they had left the house already, they were gone, and my mom said she heard her brother call her name like from the room, Claudia, and my mom said that she had remembered that they had left, so she grabbed me and ran out of the house and like stayed out there and didn't come back. It's like there's definitely some creepy shit that has happened to them. And my mom said she's laid down and felt things where like they press in on the mattress, like if someone's sitting there next to her, like pushing in on it.
Mm.
Random barkings. They had a well in my grandma's basement. They
Oh,
found a
the
bunch of
Ring.
fuck up creepy shit. Like, dude, it's had to happen. I know, Memo. You gotta like your parents have definitely told you something. Or
I have a couple stories, right? So
go ahead, bro. Let's hear it.
so well, Andrew, do you have any?
No, I told you no.
No, nothing.
Niggas say
Okay.
you don't believe in the spooky scares.
So okay. Um. So let me start off with my mom. This actually happened here. Um. The okay. So this was when I believe Hector was in. It's either he was in college or high school. Okay, I don't exactly remember what phase he was in. Definitely to me though, I think I was in. No, I was in high school, and he went to college, right? So okay, obviously I left first, right? So typically, she told me she was kind of awake because
Mm,
we're making noise. We're fucking, we'd always wake up late naturally.
right.
So it got to a point where I started driving. So I'd go like I'd always go late to class. So that was just me, right? And then my cousin, he would drive to school, and you know typically we're usually running down the stairs and opening the door and etc. Right?
Mm,
So according to my mom, uh, she was in bed, right? And at the time, her bed was literally right in front of the door, right? So
uh,
I guess it was like in the center of the room, and on the right, she would sleep on the left side of the bed, and
mm,
a couple feet away, the door, right? Okay.
right.
So she said that she was sleeping away from the door, but still on the left side. So her face was looking where the
Oh,
TV
wait.
was
So,
on
right.
the right side. So not looking at the door, or you know
So back facing the
back
door.
face, exactly, back facing the door. Right. So she said, um, you know, she okay. So at this point she was awake, but she didn't like she wasn't asleep or anything. She was just laying. But I mean, keep in mind this was really early in the morning.
Mm,
So she was just at that point she didn't even go back to sleep. So, she was there. She was in between, right? And
mm,
and at this she told me at this point, since Hector's the last one to leave, Hector left, right? So, she's there. She said, like, I don't know, she was, when you're just kind of there in your bed, time kind of flies because you're not thinking of it. You're not looking at the clock. You're just there. She says, like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later, she heard someone walking downstairs. Like, keep in mind, in the morning, in a sense, it's still kind of quiet. So, you can hear everything, especially, like, you can just hear everything, especially in this house, right? So, she
And
said,
you guys had both left by this point, right?
yes, we were completely gone out of the house. And let me get to the end, right? Well, anyways, so, she heard people walking. Or, if anything, one individual just walking downstairs. And, like, she would clearly hear it. So she didn't really give it much thought. She's like, "Oh, Hector probably came back. I didn't hear the door, etc." Right? She, she was still chilling in bed, and all of a sudden, my staircase isn't that long, but it's pretty lengthy. It makes a couple noises when you step, so it's pretty, it's noticeable. So at first she would hear. You can clearly hear when someone is about to go upstairs, because her door. It's because her door is literally right at the steps. So so she would hear the walking, right, and then she said that, like, she heard that, she could tell someone was literally downstairs, like, by the steps. She said I'm getting creeps just, like, saying this, like, you would hear the walking, and then she said it went quiet for like 5 minutes, right?
Oh,
out of nowhere, out of fucking nowhere, all you hear is,
like, running
up the stairs.
Oh, hell no! I just got the chills on my arms.
Like, hear me, dude. Like, the fact that like, the way she described it, like, she said it was some heavy ass feet,
and just right away went from nothing to straight booking it up the stairs.
Like, it's just it was like, just rethinking that, like, oh man, like, oh dude, I'd be shitting my pants at that point. So anyways, she heard the, like, all the way upstairs, like, fast as shit. Right? Once again, it went quiet, and at that point, she started calling out his name. She's like, Manuel, and then, she wouldn't hear anything, but she was like, oh, he's probably just, like, playing around.
Right.
So now, but the thing is, she was still looking. She was still facing away from the door. It went quiet again, and she's like, okay, that's weird. Right? I don't know where. She would hear, like, light taps on the door,
like, knock. Oh,
yeah,
nope,
right.
Nope.
And the door wasn't completely closed. It was just like it was it was open,
but not shut.
Yeah, exactly. She would hear like, taps, right? Like light, but you can hear it, like, if someone wanted to get in. That door is pretty creaky, so. I think just the fear alone, she just didn't want to, like,
turn
look.
around.
Yeah,
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't want to either.
All you hear is the door slowly opening,
like, creak open,
like a
no.
like because when you open that door slowly, it's creepy. At that moment, like, she knew, like, because you can tell when it's like a bad vibe, like a nasty, like,
you feel
nasty
that shit
vibe, man. Bro. She started praying, like, she was just, like, freaked.
Hard, yeah.
Like, like a deep, and she said that when she was doing that, the door stopped, but she would, since they have wooden floor, you can hear, like, the footsteps going up to the bed.
Oh my god. Hold on, so she's back to the door right now, not even looking at the just praying, her eyes closed, and she's listening to this thing get closer to the
Right.
bed.
So
Oh my
so
god.
you know, you hear the dun, dun, like just the footsteps.
Hmm.
Once that was you know, once she finished her prayer, everything just went quiet. She said out of nowhere she felt like a calming peace.
Hmm.
She turned around. The door was completely shut.
Closed.
Yeah. So
What the
so so in her mind, she still thinks it was my cousin, right? Even though she went through like the whole prayer and everything. So here's the kicker. She called my cousin. Uh
hmm
he never picked up, but then, he got the she got the call, and he's basically like, "What do you want?" right? And he never came back home.
That day he never went back
He
home.
never went back,
Oh, like
like
he told
like
you
throughout in the
never
morning,
came
like in
back.
the yeah, like he never, because she asked like if he came back for something, or if he forgot, because sometimes he would forget shit, like,
I would have sold
typically, like,
that.
everyone forgets shit, right?
I would have sold that fucking house on the
and
spot.
and 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 yeah, that happened. So yeah, that's one of the big stories. But man, like,
Oh,
that, just thinking about it, man, like,
that's
shit.
literally the worst of worst positions. Like she was literally like backed in the corner. Probably oh, I'd hate to be in that scenario. That literally
Yeah,
like
man. And it's something, it's just unexplainable at that point, right? Whew, damn, that's,
she
oh.
literally heard the door open, bro, creak open, and then when she turns back, the door's actually shut. Like, bro, that's not shit you can explain.
Yeah, it's
It's
just,
not.
exactly, it's just something that at that point when they tell it, it's like, it's either you believe it or you don't. So that's one of the stories. Personally, for me, I've never had anything up to a month ago.
A
N-
month ago?
Never. I haven't told anyone about this.
Go ahead, bro. Let's
Besides my
hear
mom, because we kind of related in that sense. So,
this.
you know, during this whole quarantine, uh, I'm not doing anything, right? I'm not working. I'm not doing anything. Um, what happened? You know, I would sleep late. 2, 3, 4 in the morning, because it's not like I'm gonna do anything the next day, right?
Yeah.
But so this time I closed my curtains completely. Like, no type of light, no nothing. Like, you cannot
Right.
see outside at all. So my room was pretty dark. The only like light I can see is like the one coming out of the TV, like the little bar or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
So typically, the room is dark, right?
yeah.
Um you ever, like, how I mentioned before, when you're like just not doing anything, like you're not on your phone, you're not doing anything, you start
Just
thinking
there.
about random stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking about like some really like creepy shit.
You shit. Like you started tweaking yourself.
Yeah, so I try to like start singing like a fucking song or something, dude. Like it was, I don't know. I was going through it that day,
Mhm.
but so like around 2 o'clock, right? Um, uh, you know, the the hallway light is usually on,
Right. Like from
and
outside, you can see the light from your room, like underneath the door, the
right,
hallway light.
right. So it was on, right? It was on, so I can see the light under the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, whatever. Like, my when I in my bed, I can't really, like, I would have to like really peek up there to like see it.
Right.
So and so I'm laying straight on the bed, right? I have like a
Mm-hmm.
blanket over me, and all of a sudden I start feeling like this. You ever get like a cold sweat? Like, you just, like, it
Yeah,
gets really
yeah.
hot, but like you're cold, but you're sweating.
Your
Like, you know
pulse
what I mean?
shivering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I start getting this like weird sensation of that, right? But I'm like, I don't know. It's probably I'm getting sick or something. I don't know.
Right.
And you know, I look over by, everything's dark, right?
Mm.
I look over by the door where like underneath, on top is like the the smoke detector. So all you see is like a little green light, barely visible. Um, I noticed like a dark, like how the room is dark, and then sometimes like if you really look, it's like
It's
a
even darker.
darker,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
okay. So I look by the door, like man, like it was dark.
But you made out a figure or something, huh?
Yeah, like
That's
it
happened.
was, it was like it was dark, man. Like it's so indescribable. It's and then the incredible. I think the mind is so incredible. How it starts to like you start picturing shit, right?
Mhm.
It's like when you leave like a pillow or something on your chair, and at
And then
night
you.
when you randomly wake up, you like you vision something, right, that
Mhm.
you just don't want to see, and you're just like fuck, man. But anyways, I looked at I was just staring at it, but like it was weird because I wasn't thinking about it. And then when I looked away, it kind of just hit me like hard. And I had the blanket, like I was just like squeezing it, like I was just
Wait, what
like
do you mean it hit you? As in, like when you looked at it, like at
when I
7,
looked
like
at
what
it,
the fuck was that?
I was just like staring at it, but like it didn't come my
Okay.
mind like something bad or something. It was just like it's like my brain couldn't process it. So
But then it randomly boom.
when I looked away, it like hit me. Like I felt like the coldest shiver, man. Like
Like your blood went
shit.
cold, like you froze.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
So
what the
my
fuck?
body my body was like solid. Like I could not move. Okay?
Mm,
And and like it's like you want to yell or scream, but you can't. It's like you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
opening your mouth. So it was man, I couldn't move. But the thing is, I was just staring straight at the wall at this point, like on the ceiling, because
Mm.
when I turned, that's when it hit me, and I was just like, oh shit.
And you're like, I'm
So
not looking back at that bitch.
it's that fear of like just looking anywhere and then boom, right? Um, so I'm there for like a solid 2 minutes, 3 minutes, like just thinking about it. I'm like, fuck, like what do I do?
Mm.
All this shit starting to come to my mind, and all of a sudden on the front right side of the bed, I feel it like pressure down. I said, "Fuck no!" Like
Wait, hold
at
on.
this
You're
point,
still scared, right? Like, but like you're still freaking out about like holy shit, and
I'm
then you
still
feel
freaking
it.
out,
So while
and
you're freaking out, you feel your bed pressing.
I feel my bed, like the top right corner, like slowly pressing,
Oh
and like
hell,
obviously you can feel it, and especially in that moment, you're just like you're fucked,
super aware of it.
you're
Sleep
clapped.
paralysis.
That like, dude, it was man, and okay, so so it went down. The bed went down, and I was just like, "Fuck," So I started to pray. Right
Hmm.
as I started, I kept forgetting the words. Like, dude,
Oh,
this was like man. I was just so nervous. I just so I kept saying it, and as that happened, like like not the imprint, but like the way it was going down, it was like if it was like escalating up,
like coming up slowly.
like towards me, and I'm just like, dude, like, oh, man, like, fuck, and once again, once I finished the prayer, um, it went away, like everything went like, you feel that calmness, like, it's like
Mhm.
staring at it's like staring at a little pond, and all you see is like a little raindrop dropping, and like the way you know what I mean, like a very calming image. And
Mhm.
all I do is like I kind of reposition myself, because like my body just like I guess you can say broke free or whatever you
Right.
want to call it. And as I did that, you know how you see the light on the door, I saw like if it was like two legs,
Oh, like
Dude,
like
that right there was like the, oh my god. I was
oh,
just, I don't know. I just, it's just, I couldn't explain it. It was just fucking, it was,
what did you
man.
do? What could you do?
And like at that point, I couldn't get up. I wasn't gonna, I said, fuck that. I'm not gonna get up.
I would have said
So,
the same thing.
so I kind of just like, in my mind, I just kept like thinking like happy shit. Like I like at this point, I'm just like, fuck, man. Like, like it was
It's
bad.
over with.
It's over with. But I just, I guess at that point, I kind of just like, I tried to sleep through it. But man, it was like one of the longest nights. But I think like what Andrew said, it was sleep paralysis. But the I think part of it too is like I was just really tired, man. Like
You think your mind was starting
I
to
think
like?
my mind was just tripping at that point. It's like if I stayed up too late or something, and my body
That
was just
definitely
done.
happens. That definitely
Oh
happens.
no, yeah, that's the thing too. So it could have been just my mind, or it could have been something that I truly like experienced. Because that's not the first time I hear it. Like I'm pretty sure if someone heard this story, it wouldn't be like a big story because I'm pretty sure everyone's passed through something related to that, right?
Right? Yeah.
Right. So it's unexplainable, right? And yeah, that's that.
That's fucked, dude. Holy shit.
And
Yeah.
then
Low
yeah,
key, I
man.
was lost. If feet were by my fucking like at the foot of my door, because my door doesn't even lock right, bro. So if someone's in front of my door, they're pushing that bitch wide open. I'm over with.
Yeah, man. It's something else.
Andrew, you get no experience, you motherfucker. This man said,
Well,
"Go."
I
I
got
just
one. I got one. I got one more, right? And this one's about my dad. My dad
Mhm.
has a shit ton of stories, but I'm gonna just tell you the one that I know like really well. Well,
Right.
before I start, does anyone kind of hit them of anything?
Does what?
Like, does anyone like did anything come back to you guys like that you guys remember or something?
Andrew?
Like, keep in mind this can, like I said, this can be anything, man. Like anything.
Andrew, bro, you're telling me nothing creepy has ever happened to you or something where you're like, maybe,
The only
maybe,
Like,
fear I have, the only fear I, to me, the only fear is fear itself. Okay,
right?
but explain that. Like, what?
had anything that's caused fear in me.
Never ever has anything like, so you're more afraid of what could, like,
No, I'm only afraid of what is gonna happen, not what could.
you're afraid of what is gonna happen.
And so far, nothing is happening.
Okay. I wish it was that easy for me to live it
Right.
that way.
That's. I mean, everyone in.
Because I say it every time, anytime we talk about it, like I don't care if I die, bro. It's what it is.
But that's like, I mean,
I mean, that's
yeah,
such
but
a bold thing to
bro,
say, though. It's like, do you
Well, what
really
do you want
not
me to tell
care?
you,
Like, do you really not care? Like,
I really don't like. Yeah, life is valuable. I'm very grateful to have lived this far, but
mhm.
it really is what it is, bro. I don't get to.
Yeah, that's true for sure. Like,
And even then, I should probably cherish it a lot more, but I don't. So
mhm. I mean,
all right.
like,
Well, just to end this topic, I'm gonna tell my the
yeah, go
last
ahead.
one from my dad's. I'm pretty sure this was like the last thing he experienced. Um. Okay, so back then, like I said, he came to this country like when he was really young, and I want to say a couple years go by, and he moves in with his brother. Uh, so I think he said he lived like in a trailer, or I don't remember. It was something though, right?
Mhm.
Bed, hallway, etc. And you know, he said that I think this time he slept alone, like not in the same room as his brother or something like that. And you know, he was sleeping, and for the longest he would suffer from basically like what I kind of went through, but
Mhm.
like on a not on a daily basis, but it would happen frequently.
Right.
So at that point, it was kind of just, I guess you can say used to it, but like not used to it. It was just
Right.
something that would happen, right? Until eventually, it stopped. But he said that, you know, what, like, since it was like the last one, apparently it was like the toughest thing. He's, it was just tough. And so what happened was, he was sleeping. Like any good ghost story, it was like 3 a.m.
Of course.
Of course, it just had to be. And he felt he was so, I guess you can say, used to it, that he would always have his blanket over his head, right? But he would always sleep like tighten up, just because he doesn't want anything tugging on him, or stuff like that. So he said in the middle of the night, he started sweating. He knew it was coming. Like, I don't know. Like he knew it was gonna happen again. So he felt, something crawling up on the bed, slowly. Eventually, like, basically, like, just sitting on his chest, right? So at that point, he couldn't move. He couldn't breathe. Well, he, obviously he could breathe, but it was just hard to breathe.
Right.
So, no, stuff like that. So, right, I think he kind of, like, I guess you can say, manned up. he he was just like, fuck it, right? He took the sheet over his head. Nothing happened, but it was dark. Like the whole room was dark, like dark, right? There was a long, I wouldn't say a long hallway, but a pretty decent hallway. And then on the other side was, the door for his brother's room. He was sleeping, and, the whole thing happened. He took the covers off. He's like, fuck it, whatever. He said that he felt it again, but this time, his covers weren't over him. Immediately, like, the fear, like crawled up on him, and he just put it over again. Like, he said, nah. He's like, not today, man. So he's just like, nah, man, like, fuck that. So on the hallway, he heard, back then they had like little radios and shit. He heard a song pop up, right?
Just turned on.
Yeah, and it was it was a pretty specific song. He said, well, in Spanish it's Vicente Fernandez. I know, right? But it was him, and the song was like, it said, he remembers, it said, obviously singing, he's like, la llamada es nada más para invitarte. So the calling is only to invite you, like, specifically that, right?
Right.
So what he did, at that point he was kind of like, I guess you can say, like, in a panic. So he was like ready to, like, do the dash, you know what I mean?
Right.
So what he did was, his plan was to run across the hallway to his brother's room, obviously, like, to fucking, I don't know, protect them or some shit, right?
Hell yeah, you gotta get with another person.
Yeah,
man.
and he did it, right? So, he rapidly stood up, but here's the thing, right? He had, like, the blanket over his head, but since he's been there for, a while, he knows exactly how everything's mapped out. Yeah, he knows the way out. Immediately he got out of the bed, he opened the door, he started running towards the hallway, right? Halfway, he hits something.
He hit something.
He hits like in front of
ran
him.
into something.
Ran like something, like a wall, right? Because he was like, he knew he was going straight. Like, there's no way around that.
Right.
And there was nothing in the hallway to, like, bump into, or, like, nothing, right? So, like, literally dead ass in the center. He hit something. He fell down on the ground, and he started, like, and, like, I guess he can finally, like, yell, because when he was like that, he couldn't yell or anything, because everything was, like, condensed inside of him. And his brother came out, and all he found on the ground was a blanket. But that wasn't, like, because he had his own blanket. Like, there was just a random blanket on the ground.
Just a different blanket.
Yeah, like it was theirs, but it was just on the ground.
That's freaking
But
creepy.
you know, his brother was just like, oh, I don't know, like you know, he didn't, you know, he
He
didn't know
didn't
what the
think
fuck.
nothing of it.
So you know, he slept in his room. But yeah,
But your
that
dad said
was
he ran, like he didn't trip over a blanket. He says he
no. Like he hit, like he physically felt like
like
hitting
if he was,
something.
oh my god.
Yeah, and it just like dropped, and that's when like he like yelled, and his brother came out and you know turned on the lights, and when he took the blankets off, you know, obviously he realized he was there now. So when he
Right.
took the blanket off, he noticed the blanket on the ground, and he's just like, "What the fuck?"
That's creepy as
Yeah. So that's yeah, that's like
hell.
he has more, but you know I'm gonna save those for another time. But man, that was
That's just
it
creepy as
was
hell.
something crazy, man.
Hell no, dude. Oh my god, that's yeah. Like low key, when you were saying that he ran out of the room with the blanket over his head, I oh dude, I thought you were gonna say that like as he was running, the blanket like was yanked off of him, or like that something like grabbed at his foot. I was about to lose it, bro.
Nah, it, man, and I don't know. Like it was just it was crazy. It was something um you know one doesn't want to go through, but it's just one of those life experiences that one just has. Especially like I want to say like teenage years specifically.
It happened.
There's a lot of stories that have happened, but yeah, that's yeah, it's crazy.